Hey everybody, welcome to Comics from the Future. This is the show that we do every single Friday where we go over what is upcoming in the comic book world from Marvel, from DC, from all our favorite independent publishers, and let you know what you don't want to miss. So, my name's Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of the lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Woohoo! So, if you guys are new to our channel, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We are always interested in that, and feel free to chat with us and let us know what you're most excited about. And at the end of the video and in the description box, we'll put some info on how you can order with us if you would like to do that, if you need a comic shop. So, I guess
This is a very cool week. A lot of really good covers, a lot of
Mhm.
things to talk about. So I guess let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay, mine is the first thing. So this is the oversized special Women of Marvel issue coming out. It's a little late for Women's History Month
Yeah.
because that is in March, so it will not be released in March, but it is solicited in March, which is good enough. This is 56 pages, so definitely big. It's got several stories in it featuring not only featuring women all across the Marvel Universe, from X-Men to Avengers. Got She-Hulk, Rogue, Mystique, all sorts of characters, but it's also all created by women writers and artists. So the whole thing is women of Marvel in multiple meanings. So really cool. All these are always really nice and special. So this is our A cover. And then we have the Connor variant. And then this is awesome. I've seen this for ages now. Gotta have Momoko variant.
That looks really good.
Of Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch in there.
Really nice. And then lastly, we have the wolf variant with magic. All these are very different feels to them. This one is really like gritty and just awesome to stare at. So pick your favorite one and check it out. It's going to be really cool.
So I don't know if I'm familiar with the artist Wolf, but that looks like that would take a very long time to draw.
I really like the mouth in the bottom right corner that's like, yeah.
Yeah. This looks chaotically awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Next up is the Mighty Valkyries. I keep wanting to just call it Valkyrie because there was a series that just ended not that long ago called Valkyrie, but now it's plural because coming out of the events of King in Black, Jane Foster is now Valkyrie, and she thought she was the last Valkyrie. Well, it turns out that may not be the case, as there is some new Valkyries joining her team, and she has to kind of figure out, as the leader, what the new role for the Valkyries is going to be moving forward. While she's doing this, Loki shows up and says, hey, there's a giant beast coming that is hunting mortal souls on Midgard. And so she must deal with that, plus all these new Valkyries entering the thing. This promises to have new characters and returning old characters you can see on the cover. What's cool about this, we actually have some preview pages to show.
There's no text, but the art here looks really, really good.
So, yeah, you get a good feel of the art. You see Hela's going to be in this. So you see some of her powers there. This is really cool. This is going to be by Jason Aaron, who was the previous writer of Valkyrie and a long writer of Thor. He's the creator of Gore the God Butcher, which is going to be in the new movie and everything.
He likes writing Asgardian things.
Yes. If you see him, he also looks like a Viking, which is really cool.
Some really good coloring on this, too.
Mm-hmm. So this is by Jason Aaron and a co-written by Tarun Gronbeck, which also is a very Scandinavian name, and I know they announced, I think back with the previous Valkyrie series, that they've got someone who's very versed in the traditional Norse mythology and history, helping them out on that. And the art is Erica D'Urso, so kind of a new name it seems on the scene for this, but definitely notable. Here's some of the variants. So we've got the Knock Headshot variant.
We knew that one.
With all the severed heads you want.
Every Marvel book gets one of those.
Yeah. And then we have, of course, these Heroes Reborn variants that are coming out prior to the Heroes Reborn event from Marvel. So these are all by Carlos Pacheco. And then, of course, you got to have a Scotty Young one. So at some point you can pause your video or go look it up and read it, because the covers are always really fun.
This made me laugh. Yeah, Scotty Young has such a great sense of humor.
Killing it.
Okay, so another new one from Marvel is Way of X. I did not know what to expect about this comic, and I got a preview version just today that I read before the show. So I've actually read this, and I'll tell you, it was really, really good. It's an ongoing series. This first issue is 30 pages. That doesn't count ads because the preview they send us doesn't have the ads. So 30 pages of actual comic to it. So who is the Patchwork Man, and is he a new Omega level mutant? Basically, there are some hints about this character. There is a cameo of him in it. In fact, 2 cameos of him. And he might be a new Omega level mutant. There's still less than a dozen of those. I mean, even after all these years of X-Men, few that are that powerful. Now, the plot. Basically, what's going on in Krakoa, the culture of X-Men, it's perhaps turned a little prideful, a little decadent even. And so who better to kind of take that on than Nightcrawler? He has his faith and his beliefs that can't be shaken. So what happens when Professor X even starts to detect, something's going on here? Something's going wrong with our culture. Well, he goes to Nightcrawler and he alerts him. He thinks that it's not just them. He thinks there's a new Omega level villain who is affecting them, possibly this Patchwork Man character. And so Nightcrawler has to kind of figure it out. So that's the general plot. But what I have to say about this book is the dialogue is really, really good. I enjoyed every moment of it. There are some really good discussions. It ranges from funny, it had parts that made me laugh, to philosophical. And I'm not kidding. They actually bring up 1 or 2 interesting philosophies. Somebody starts talking about the Dunbar theory, where you can only know 150 people in your life, and after that you start coming up with these coping mechanisms, and that's where cultures come from. So this is both fun, exciting, and also deep. So I don't know, like I think going into it I was like not really enthusiastic. I was like, another X title?
Yeah.
This is the new one I'm going to sign up for. Also, Nightcrawler, he's just waiting to be propelled into greatness. I mean, he's such a cool character. A lot of what it explores is the fact that they think they've defeated death, and Nightcrawler is like, this is probably not a good thing. And when you read this book, you're going to see it's not. A lot of the young characters, they've lost all the reverence of death. Like, they actually die on purpose sometimes. There's kind of a gruesome little thing that happens. It's almost like a passage of right. It's like, oh, you haven't died yet, and come back. You should. Why not?
Yeah.
They treat it like they're just eating a taco or something simple like that. So really cool first issue. There is a wraparound cover we're going to show you here. It's going to cover the screen to show you. So I thought this is a very cool wraparound cover. This is the Vincetti wraparound cover. And then there is also the Scotty Young.
Still, Scotty Young tends to do like a variant cover for every #1 Marvel does.
I got to say one more thing about the book, just to give everyone a little more of a hook. So Magneto leads this ceremony where basically Scarlet Witch did something previously where 1,000 mutants lost their powers. Well, you can't be in Krakoa if you lost your powers. Well, Magneto holds this ceremony where he's like, hey, if you want to stay, that's okay. You have to die, and we'll bring you back before you lost your powers, then you'll be a mutant again. Well, that could be nice, and they could do it in a nice way. No, they do it in some crazy Lord of the Flies way. It's pretty scary, and there are some messed up things going on in Krakoa. I'm glad they're finally addressing it. That place has become uncomfortable. Nightcrawler needs to save it.
I was about to say, Nightcrawler's the perfect person to come in there and be like, you guys are taking this way too far. And we know, like you mentioned, the decadence that coming up is that big gala that the X-Men are throwing. It seems like they're really priming this, like,
the fall,
elitist mindset before...
The pride before the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You really sold that one. That sounds amazing.
I couldn't believe... I mean, I just read it. I was like, this is really good.
Cool. All right. Captain Marvel, I can rarely think of a series going on right now that it comes up with such hooks every few issues that gets a lot of people on board, and that's what is happening with this issue 28. You can see right here, Captain Marvel has become the Sorceress Supreme. You can see it on the cover. Really cool cover, also, especially for an A cover. So, spoilers. a little bit. I won't do spoilers. Okay. Anyway, what we got here is a new artist. We have a new outfit. There's a lot of new stuff happening in this, and like I already said, she's become the Sorcerer Supreme. So one of the most interesting things about this is that we know Captain Marvel has had problems with magic in the past. So how will she fare with this new situation? So I think we'll see a lot of people jump on board at this new story arc.
Yeah, I mean, new outfit, new powers. I mean, people are
It's
going to get it just for that
yeah.
reason. Aside from the story is interesting and weird, especially how she got her powers, which is what Megan almost spoiled. You'll have to read the last issue.
Yeah, I
I'm
won't.
sure they'll start it with that as well.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, with her becoming maybe the new Sorceress Supreme, what's he gonna be doing? He might not be
Yeah.
too happy about this.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have the Heroes Reborn variant.
Very, very weird things going on there.
Yeah, it's like a statues or people turn to stone.
Yeah, something Medusa.
Next up is Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. So, this is the first Godzilla book from IDW since 2016. Wish it came out a little bit sooner in time for Godzilla vs. Kong, but I think just the excitement
Yeah.
of the movie will really help it. So, this is really interesting. This is by Eric Burnham and Dan Schoening, who were the creative team on IDW's Ghostbusters series, which a much loved series that did a lot of justice to Ghostbusters and had definitely the feel of that. So that creative team is coming back to tell this new Godzilla story, and this is about a kind of a crazy businessman who uses untested elements to try and profit off of clean energy. Well, that doesn't go well because all his testing wakes up old Godzilla again, up from the depths.
Of course.
And as Godzilla, wants to do, goes on a rampage, and it's up to these three students who are convinced they are going to show Godzilla that people are worth saving and not destroying. So it sounds like it is good for kind of a middle grade reader, but also traditional Godzilla fans, and you'll see that too from the variant cover, which pulls from a screenshot from one of the original movies, which I think is really cool. Godzilla's actually had a bunch of different designs. I think people have a general idea of what he looks like, but even you see here, like his head shape and stuff has changed a lot. So it's cool they're doing these photo covers too. And this is going to be a 5-issue miniseries, and this is kind of touted as IDW is revitalizing their Godzilla license and going to be doing a lot more with the property.
And I think, what is it, next weekend is Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, the movie.
That movie comes out, so that's pretty timely. I guess they should have had this come out maybe a couple weeks sooner, but that's funny. Godzilla's just trying to sleep, and he's like, "What's that smell?" And that's what begins the whole thing. So here's another one that I got to read a preview issue of. So I've read this. This is the Girls of Dimension 13. I mean, there's no way you can't hear that voice.
It sounds like the subtitle, like an episode of Twilight Zone or something.
Yeah, so this is the first issue of a new ongoing series from Aftershock. This is a superheroes sci-fi mystery series. And I kid you not, it's all in this book for sure. As you can see, they have powers. So the premise is these 4 girls have been invited to New York City by this mysterious benefactor who owns a very swank old apartment. And they get to live there rent-free. I mean, they literally are there because they're like, wow, rent-free in New York City? I'm there.
I want a mysterious benefactor.
Well, you'll have to reveal your superpower because each one, they learn over the course of the first issue that each of them has a secret superpower they've been keeping to themselves. And they kind of reveal it to each other. So the powers are very cool. One has like telekinesis, telepathy. One can control the air. One, I think I like her powers the best. She can open it. And they don't really say the power; you just kind of see it once. But it looks like she can open up a dimensional portal to some evil dimension that will like suck in people.
Ooh.
And I'm trying to remember the last girl. She's got matter manipulation, but in like a really freaky, make you look like Mr. Fantastic way if you
Oh.
mess with her. Yeah, so these girls discover they all have these powers, so that can't be a coincidence. They were invited to stay in this apartment, and they're told the only rule is there's a room that they can't go in. They go in the room, of
Well,
course.
you have to.
And in that room, there is a mirror that leads to another dimension. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess it's Dimension 13.
Oh.
Oh, whoa.
And by the end of it, they learn that the dog they're also looking after is more than he seems to be, and they may have to deal with this other dimension, and maybe they were brought there to deal with this other dimension. So it was good. The art was fine. The read was fun. I think the characters are cool. The powers are cool. So for me, Aftershock, sometimes they're hit and miss. They're usually more hit than miss. This one is definitely a hit for me. I want to check out the second issue. It's not one that I felt like not enough happened in. Plenty happened in it. So I do recommend The Girls of Dimension 13 if that sounds good to you. So
Is it a miniseries or an ongoing?
It is an ongoing.
Okay.
And it just has the one cover. So there is an incentive cover, but we don't show those on the show. There is no just regular price variant.
All right, next up is Alice in Leatherland. What is up with that title? I don't know yet. So this is by Black Mask. This is actually written by a real-life couple. I'm going to butcher this. Iolanda, I think is her name. I'm not going to try, guy. Iolanda and Elisa. They're a real-life couple doing the art and the writing on this. It is described as a sex comedy and queer romance.
Okay.
One of the reasons we decided to feature this one is, you can see by the title, you can maybe assume some things about it. There are a lot of comics that this is the comics that end up having 50 different covers and, a little bit risque. But this seemed to be actually quite different, and I was getting a lot of, like, Mirka Andolfo vibes.
Yeah.
More artful than...
Yeah, so it's definitely no two ways about it. This is, an adult book. It's going to have sexual content in it, but it seems like it's doing it in a more playful, not non-sleazy way. I guess that's the best way for me to say it. I don't know yet. Haven't got to read it.
The idea of a sex comedy, I just picture somebody slipping on a banana peel and then they wake up pregnant. I don't know.
So anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, it does have a couple other covers you can go check out.
Next up, could be the most different. You could
Yeah,
jump
it's
from
very
book to book,
opposite.
is Kanjikaru the Skinner. So, he does not slip on a banana peel and wind up pregnant. Just going to spoil that. That does not happen in this. So, everyone's familiar with Hellboy and the Hellboy universe with BPRD and everything, but a lot of people don't know that Mignola has another universe called the Outerverse. That's where stories like Baltimore, some of the other Mignola books take place in, but those are also connected. So this one takes place in that, and my feeling from reading about this and everything is that, spoilers from a few years ago, Hellboy is dead. They've been going back and doing stories that are set in the past, but for the most part, there's no real new Hellboy stuff coming out, furthering his story. So it seems like they're going to try and flesh out this universe now. And of course, it's very similar. It has witches and Nazis and zombies and everything. But this is about a witch hunter called Kanjikaru. And she's from many years ago. You can kind of guess, kind of ancient times. But this book takes place during World War II in France as a band of resistance soldiers summon Kanjikaru to help them fight Nazi witches. So it's this resistance group with a ghost of a witch hunter going against Nazi witches. So it's very Mignola.
Yeah.
It has all of those elements of witches and Nazis, World War II, and ancient history and everything. But they're always really fun. And what's also cool about this, it's only going to be 2 issues long.
Huh.
Very rarely do stories ever, are 2 issues. But this is 2, but there is also a one-shot coming out of another character in this universe, and then another 2-issue miniseries coming later. So when we show the variant, you'll see these are all actually going to have a connected variant that fleshes out this universe. So you can see here that's got the first kind of grouping of characters. There's going to be, probably 4 to 6 covers connecting all of these. So I think it's really cool that we're now getting this other grouping of characters that still has the same style as Hellboy, but not in the same universe. So this is co-written by Mignola with a lot of his longtime partners that he's worked with on a lot of series.
Yeah, I noticed lately that somebody's doing a documentary on Mike Mignola. It's
Yep.
being kickstarted right now. So those of you who are fans of his, you can probably still get on board.
Yep.
I think for $3,000 they'll list you as a producer
That's pretty cool.
on it. Yeah. And Mignola, he agreed to do one unique piece for it, one drawing, and they got it's already gone, $10,000
Wow.
for one Mignola drawing.
I have a
So
Mignola drawing.
you're rich.
I'm not selling it.
Okay, also releasing is this is the part of the show where we go over other noteworthy issues that we think we want people to know. So this is Batman Black and White number 5 is available for order. So these are surprise people. They've snuck up on people and
Yeah.
had many first appearances and just weird stories with characters that might come back. We keep selling out of it. In the last one, it was the first maps as Robin.
Mhm.
So who knows what's going to be in this one. This is the A cover by Lee Weeks. This is the Jenny Frison cover.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, really cool, really nice. Have we seen Frison do much Batman?
I don't
Not
think
a
so.
whole lot, no.
I didn't think so
And this
either.
is her doing black and white, which we also don't often see.
Yeah,
And it's
'cause-
just to
Just
show,
that.
like, it's not just the colors that do it.
yeah.
She's just great no matter what.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then here is the Gary Frank variant where it looks like Batman is the villain in this. Look at him in the background there going after
It's
Two-Face,
Riddler.
or Riddler rather.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
Speaking of Jenny Frison, here she is on
It is.
Catwoman number 30. So this is same with issue 29. That sold really quickly. Everybody really adored it. And here she is again with issue 30. It's kind of like some Poison Ivy vibes in the background there. So really
she's doing that
gorgeous.
thing where girls say "I declare."
I do declare.
Yeah.
Or she's doing the that Homer Simpson thing where he goes back into the bushes, like I'm getting out of this
He
situation.
just absorbs back in the bushes to get away.
Yep. Next up is the variant for Flash 769. And this variant is by, would you say Zixu?
Sounds right.
Zixu?
Well,
It sounds good. But this is continuing the story set up in the previous issue. I think this is the second issue of this new creative team, where Wally West gets flung into the 30th century.
yeah, like Legion times.
Yeah, where he gets thrown into the body of his former partner Impulse. And so him and Gold Beetle, this new character that was introduced in Future
Who's on the
State,
cover right there.
yep, have to figure out what is causing random explosions that keep propelling Flash through time. So, sounds crazy, sounds very Flash, but I do love this cover.
Me too.
But he's having none of Gold Beetle's
I see that.
smooching.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so this is the A cover to Justice League number 60 by David Marquez. I just really like this cover. The promise of Black Adam versus Superman.
Mhm.
That's all I need, and I'm gonna pick the book up. So Justice League, with the last issue, of course, they started with a new team, new creative team on the book, and a new Justice League team, which is supposed to include Black Adam, but I don't know. It looks like there's already problems with his views.
Well, that's the thing too, is Superman is weak to Black Adam because
Yeah.
he's magic. So that's actually a really fair fight.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that's an interesting story point that Bendis is pulling in, because you never see Superman really fight Shazam or anything, but Black Adam has that leadership mind that's just like Superman does, where they're both going to be button heads to see who can who has the better idea how to lead the Justice League.
Also in this issue, Naomi is going to be appearing in it. I believe a new villain from where she's from is going to become a new major Justice League villain. So a lot of things happen in this issue. And then it also has a really cool variant cover by Cale New. This cover is fantastic.
It's going to take you a while to pick
Take
out
it
all the
in.
characters.
Yeah. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, a lot of good covers this week.
Yeah. All right, speaking of more good covers, this
Yeah.
is Nightwing 79. Now, issue 78 sold out so quick. We ordered more than normal. It was not just back to Nightwing numbers. This was a new story arc by Tom Taylor, so it sold like crazy, and I think it's actually selling for $20 minimum online right now, which is nuts. So, that said, you'll definitely want to pick this up. This is the Jamal Campbell variant, and also kind of cool with what's going on right now. DC is having this thing where you can name Nightwing's dog.
Yeah, I'm not sure, do you email them? I'm sure they have something, but I was seeing a website was posting about they want you to suggest names for his new partner.
Yeah.
In the last issue, he rescued a 3-legged dog, and he didn't want to keep it, but Barbara Gordon's like, you got a new best friend.
So, yeah, you guys should all go submit your names for the dog. Maybe you'll be one of the people who wins.
Name it Infinity Flux.
Yes, there we go.
Well, let us know in the comments if you do that and what your name for the dog would be.
I like this cover. It has the globe effect, sort of fisheye,
Yeah.
almost. It reminds me of sort of MC Escher art. Where
Yeah, that's hard to
do.
do.
The globe and thing over it.
He so casually just jumps out of things, just
Yeah.
relaxing. Next up is the, I believe it's issue 3, yes, of Truth and Justice. So this is, again, that anthology series where every issue kind of spotlights a different character. And this one, if you can't tell, is about Constantine and him maybe trying to be a good guy. I mean, as good as Constantine can get by helping out a kid who's kind of fallen into the wrong crowd. And is being influenced by Papa Midnight, a character we haven't seen for a very long time. So, really cool. And if you're missing any kind of Constantine stuff right now, this looks good. Even the cover is very reminiscent of the Vertigo Constantine series.
Yeah, that does look that way.
And then we have the variant, which is by Joshua Sway.
Okay, some other variants to know about. Marvel is doing their Heroes Reborn variant series for the upcoming event, Heroes Reborn, where they reimagine the heroes. They did it back in the 90s, and the 90s are cool. Everyone knows it. All the best people were around back then, chilling. So they're bringing it back. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 64, the Pacheco Heroes Reborn variant cover with a sort of Hyperion-like character on it holding the Hulk.
Yeah.
Then you have Champions number 6, the Pacheco Heroes Reborn variant. The very different looking Doctor Doom.
It looks like Doctor Doom got the... I can't remember what the Juggernaut's amulet that gave him his power, because he's not a mutant.
The Sidorak.
Yeah. So it looks like he got a hold of that.
Okay. Also, we'll get back to that, but let's take a departure real quick. Here is Spider-Woman number 11. So this issue, they've been promoting a lot. If you've been reading the Marvel Comics, there's been ads for it. We don't really know why. I don't know what big thing is supposed to happen to this, but when they do ads for an issue, usually something's going to happen. The ads have been her upside down a lot.
Yeah, it's been this picture upside down where it feels like it was printed wrong.
Yeah. So just want everyone to know about that. Plus, this also has the Pacheco Reborn variant. They did not have the cover ready on time, so it didn't make our show. But if you want it, if you're trying to get all the Hero Reborn stuff, or you suspect that this might be one you want, please let us know. We don't order as much of the ones where they don't have the cover to show us, because we have to order blind.
Yep.
All right. Up next, we have Black Knight Curse of the Ebony Blade number 2. This is the Ron Lim variant featuring Elsa Bloodstone. And she is a monster hunter and maybe coming after Black Knight in this issue. So really, really cool variant.
Next up is Alien number 2. So Alien number 1 came out this week in this huge week of number 1s and big books. And I actually got a chance to skim through this one, got an advance copy, and let me tell you, it gave me a lot of Aliens vibes. The Marines kind
Oh,
of going into a dilapidated ship. So this is, if you read the first one, you know there is this former Marine named Cruz, and his son is kind of an extremist, and in this does a very stupid thing, and now it looks like his dad has to come in and try and clean it up, and that stupid thing could have been releasing the aliens again.
great.
And so this one has some really cool stuff in it. Alludes again to the alpha alien that we talked about before on our last show. That's this new form of an alien. There's a couple of new-ish looking aliens in this, but the action definitely ramps up in this issue, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, Alien #1 has sold out on the just distribution level and has gone back to second print.
Wow.
Yeah, and they made a lot of it, so
Mhm.
it was definitely a
I'm
hit.
surprised about that.
Yeah. So next we have Carnage Black, White, and Blood #2. This is the regular A cover, which is cool enough as it is. Carnage Black and White and Blood #1 was awesome. I talked it up. I think a lot of people came in and bought it. It had 3 stories in it. The first one was a Carnage love story from his perspective, talking about if he had a wife and a kid and what would happen. It was great. The second was a Wild West tale of some Wyatt Earp character trying to track down a villain, but the villain is Carnage. And the third story, which was the big surprise by Al Ewing, it was a choose your own adventure Carnage story. So it looks like people, the writers, are just dashing to write for this book and have fun.
Mhm.
So you might want to pre-order this one, get on board of this one, go get the #1 if you didn't already get it. It's also going to have a Kyle Hotz variant. I like Kyle Hotz. Once again, he was a big artist in the 90s. He did a lot of cool stuff. His old 90s stuff goes for a lot of money. I wish they had gotten this art ready in time, but they didn't. So we just want you to know, if you want the Kyle Hotz one, go order it at your store. Let them know in advance. It's going to be hard to find it day of otherwise.
All right, next up we have a new mini-series from Old Guard Tales Through Time. It's going to be a 6-part series by Greg Rucka, and it's about a group of immortal soldiers. And as we know, it's already been on Netflix, but they are going to do another movie probably pretty soon, so who knows? I don't know if it's going to be based off this or not, but anyway, if you like Old Guard, it's definitely a good thing to get into your brain right now. I
Yeah,
don't know.
get in your brain.
Greg Rucka, he's a solid writer.
I'm
Yeah.
sleepy today. All right, next up we have the Camagni variant, and then lastly we
That
have
is a close talker. I just want to say that.
and then we have the Battlefield variant. Speaks for itself there.
So this one, don't adjust your sets. This is actually the variant for Radiant Black #3. When I saw this one, it was crazy
Yeah,
because
we laughed about that right away.
yeah, especially when you're looking on a computer and that pops up and you're like, what is this? Looks like a problem. No, if you know the main character in the book is kind of a down on his luck writer. He's got this book that he's been working on that people are really interested in. So you can see here it kind of is playing off of that, like, you know, kind of the failed writer. He's about to delete his thing, but just seeing like the folder in the top and the like Kyle Higgins file and everything at the top. I think this is really cool. I love when they take these big gambles with variant covers and do really weird things. So
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So this is the horror poster variant for Stray Dogs #3. This, of course, is Annabelle. So we know a lot of people have been coming to our store getting all the Stray Dog horror poster homage variants. So just want everyone to know this one's coming up, and they did it. They did it right.
there's nothing scary about that little dog.
I don't know.
I
There's
mean,
some blood or something down, or is that flowers?
I think it's just flowers. I think he's
Okay.
just a good dog, good boy.
A good dog. Everything around it though, all the
Yeah, it's really
darkness
creepy. But that movie would have gone a completely different way if it was a little pug or something.
versus the doll.
Yeah, with the too close together eyes.
I guess that's true.
Next up is Ultra Mega #2. Is that right? This is
Yep.
#2. Man, these books come so fast. It's like we talk about like, oh yeah, number one's coming out, and then it's like, oh wait, where is number two already? And this is the variant. No, this is actually the
Yeah, it's the
cover.
Bertram variant.
yeah. So I mean, if you had any question of what this book is like, this cover definitely tells you the level of craziness that goes on in it. But issue number one was great. Very Ultraman or yeah, Ultraman esque. Giant hero fighting giant monsters, but also very over the top, as you can
I
see.
know where they came up with the idea for this cover because every villain says the streets will run red with blood, and there it is.
There it is.
Yep.
All right, this is Ha Ha number 4, the B cover. This is done by Shay, and the premise of this issue is that everything floats. So, kind of definitely playing on it there, but they're in a world where everything floats. So, maybe this is the comedy issue we were promised. I know the series, I think it was supposed to cover a variety of genres, but much true to the author's field of expertise, it's been a lot of horror. So, this series is incredible, and we can't keep it up. I think our numbers for Ha Ha have surpassed Ice Cream Man around here.
Wow.
So, I think maybe just the title is a little more accessible to people than Ice Cream Man. That's my guess. But it's fantastic. So
I think he's writing it in a way where if you're, have a normal sense of humor, you don't find it funny, but sociopaths laugh their butts off at it. So he probably he's probably testing everyone to
hands
figure
up
out
if
who
you're a
it is.
sociopath.
All right, next up, this is Jim Henson's Storyteller Tricksters number 2, and this is the Peach Momoko variant. We have many people around here who collect all of Momoko's covers, so we don't want you to miss out on this one.
Okay, this me?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Man, it got back to me really quick. Anyway, this is Firefly brand new verse. This is featuring Emma, the daughter of Zoe and Wash. And there's likely going to be a lot of new characters in this series. I think everyone was surprised by how popular number 1 was. So this is issue number 2 of a 6-part series. They don't have the A cover ready, but if you want to add it to your list, if you like number 1, make sure to do that.
Yeah, the number 1 came out last week, which was a really big week, and I don't think people were ready for it. But then the news kind of broke, a new Firefly character, 20 years into the future, daughter of Zoe and Wash. She's going to be the new captain of the Firefly. And so just people who don't normally read comics start coming in and grabbing it. So we just don't want anyone to miss out on the second one just because they don't have the cover ready.
Next up is Bequest, or The Bequest, number 2. Just got number 1, this new book from Aftershock. Really cool about this fantasy world and our world, and kind of trading the black market trading of weapons between the two and how that affects each of them. Freddie Williams' art in this is awesome and very D&D feel. So if you like the number 1, be sure to pick up the number 2.
Speaking of awesome art, here is the cover for Orphan and the Five Beasts number 2 by James Stokoe. The first issue, of course, dropped last week. I read it. If you like crazy kung fu stuff, you're going to like it. That character on the cover was featured at the end of issue 1.
That's not the first one with the horse, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that is?
That is Thunder Thighs. So he has to fight the 5 beasts. They all have specialties. This one's specialty is he has huge thighs. He's riding a horse who he snaps in half just for fun. Definitely a villain. And that's just the first of the 5 beasts. I need to see them all. It's only a 4-issue series. If you like this kind of art and this kind of just wild, almost an indie feel to it sort of series, check it out. The number 1 was great.
All right, guys, now we're going to go over some second printings and some trade paperbacks, collected stuff. So up first is Radiant Black, number 2, second print. The number 2 sold out really quickly. Everyone loved the number 1 around here, and it's really well written, very well done. Everybody's excited to see where it goes. So if you somehow missed it, or if you just like second print copies, make sure to get Radiant Black number 2, second print.
And then
Yes.
Ultra Mega number 1, second print. Man, all these image books are just flying off the shelves, going back to second prints. And that new thing where now instead of like recoloring the number 1 or putting a like a different color title on or whatever, we get these awesome new covers that have new art on them. So that also gives you a great idea what this book is about, because crazy creature design, over the top fighting. So if you missed the number one, the first print, or you just like this cover too, pick it up.
I just feel like Ultra Mega, the art and the craziness, and then I was doing what's it called, Orphan and Five Beasts. I mean, it's like if you're coming in for the one, just get them both.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of hand in hand, but different.
Yeah.
Things about them. So this is Harley Quinn Black, White, and Red. The trade paperback is coming out. It was a digital first, so this was released digitally. It was never a comic. It's not going to be a comic as far as individual issues. This lets everybody who wants the physical form of it, like me, to purchase it. Like the Black, White, and Red, the other Black, White, Red series, it is multiple stories about Harley Quinn told by different creative teams. It is $19.99 and a really cool cover that is just showing you what they're going to do with that red.
Yeah, I think that's Jimenez art too. This is the Mystery of the Meanest Teacher, a Johnny Constantine graphic novel. So DC's been doing these great young and middle reader graphic novels lately. It's kind of like a whole series of them now. And this one is actually about a 13-year-old Constantine who tells his parents he wants to go to school in the U.S. and ends up going to a school in Salem, Massachusetts, where he's sure that his homeroom teacher is a witch. And hijinks ensue. But a lot of people have been picking up these. I'm glad that they have this kind of younger reader, especially for characters like this, where, you know, you may have some kids or something that see Constantine and other things which are rarely appropriate for anyone younger than an adult, and gives them this way of experiencing the character.
All right, up next I have a big fat omnibus for you.
Thunder thighs
This
on.
is going to be huge. This is Justice League, the New 52 omnibus. It is $125. This cover is Jim Lee and Scott Williams. So this collects a ton of stuff, including Justice League 0 through 23, some Aquaman, Justice League Dark. It's going to be 2 parts, so this is just volume 1. So, yeah, it's I wonder if this cover's going to wrap around. It doesn't show me, but it looks like
it's a cover to Justice League #1 from the New 52, which was a very landmark story. It was actually the first time that Cyborg was made like an official member of the Justice League, which is now like a normal member of the Justice League.
Yeah.
But that was a very like big thing when it happened. People were like, "Oh wow, he got promoted from the Teen Titans to the Justice League."
So yeah, if you are a fan of omnibuses, this is the book for you.
This just in, Star Wars Insider number 202 is on this week's final order form. It wasn't yesterday. Before the show, we always check, and all of a sudden it was there. Everyone now has till Monday to say they want it. More and more people have been collecting this because it has original stories in it, particularly about High Republic sometimes.
Yeah, Charles Soule has been doing some original story set in High Republic.
Yep. So this is the regular cover. There are 2 other covers which are pretty cool. This is the previews exclusive cover, meaning you can get the other one, this one, in certain bookstores and such. This is just for us comic shops, so it's very limited. This cover is done by an artist named Jake. That's all it said. Jake, Jake. So I'm not sure who Jake is, but pretty...
Jake and Jock should do a collab.
Jake and Jock. Then there's also another cover. They call this the FOC variant, meaning they had a third one they wanted to put in, but they didn't get it in time for the initial order, so it's just on our final order thing. So this is, up to the minute. This cover was just released. In fact, so up to the minute that they didn't list who the cover artist is. I have no idea who this cover artist is. So,
but I feel like a lot of people will want this one.
Yeah.
I think so too, and that just shows how last minute they'll just slide these things in, but we're going to tell you about it. You're going to know if you watch Comics from the Future. That's what we do. These are all $9.99.
All right, a bit more of an affordable omnibus here. I really like that Marvel is doing the $100 omnibuy. This is What If, the original Marvel series from 1977, collecting most of the series 1 through 22. So just a fantastical what if stories, like what if other people got Spider-Man's powers? What if Jane Foster had Thor's hammer?
What if?
Well, we know what happened there. So collecting all those great what if stories in one nice package for just $100. So this is the main cover for that.
I like that. What if the original Marvel bullpen had become the Fantastic Four?
That's just them patting themselves on the back, like, come on, boys, let's get in there.
Oh yeah.
It's nice when creative people can have fun and
Yeah.
put themselves in it and make fun of themselves a little.
And then the other cover we have for this is the Wilson cover. Actually, saw there was one more cover, but it is the Jane Foster Thor hammer cover as well. So there's 3 different covers for these.
Wow.
So pick which one you like and let us know.
I love, we always joke about these old what ifs, like, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? All of these have pretty much happened in continuity.
They were like, wow, we actually used it. We
But,
ran out
like,
of ideas, so we're using those ideas.
Yeah, so it's funny to see what the original incarnations of these things were. We just saw, we got one in just a few hours ago, the what if Thor was the Herald of Galactus? And it's like, oh, well, that was just a really big story in Thor. So.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, well, that is it. Those were the biggies this week. We hope you have got some good information from us and you are more ready than ever to go to your comic store and tell them which ones you want while they're still open order.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments what you're most excited about this week. And I wanted to mention real quick, we're actually doing a giveaway on our Instagram. So if you are not on Instagram, or if you are, go over there and check it out because we are on that as well.
And a big thanks to everyone who watches this on YouTube, our channel. We're almost at 700 subscribers. So on our kind of faster and faster path to 1,000. So thank you there. We kind of spread this video around everywhere because it is our mission to tell you about comics.
All right, guys. We'll have a fabulous weekend, and we will see you same time, same place next week.
Yes.